Hey, Callie, how you doing? Thank you for your submission. I was just going through your writing here. Thanks for describing your intent on the six separate sides of the posters, front and back. Um, okay, you know what? Let's jump right over and take a look. I have you up somewhere right here. Okay, so good job, good job. Timeline information, excellent. You got your paragraphs, two paragraphs. You might, I don't know. Let's see how this works out. You could end up adding some if this doesn't prove to be enough text for the bio information. And then you got the photo. Great. So you're set up and ready for success. Let's go ahead and take a look at your sketches. So we see in the front of the sketches, we've got the name, the laureate's name, along with a tagline. And I think we're seeing the tagline right there. And then here, X-ray William. Let me just zoom in here because I can't quite see what's going on that particular third. Whoops, zoom in, not zoom out, Michael. So let's go ahead and jump right over here. Boy, that is so hard to see. Discovery of X-ray. All right, so that's your tagline. So yeah, you've got it there. All right, excellent. So all the pieces are in place. So you've got your photographic imagery depicted on the back, and that is only the bio picture. Then you've got the paragraphs, you've got the timeline. Excellent. And in the front, you've got the name of the laureate as well as the tagline. So we're ready to go here in terms of requirements. I'm just taking I'm looking over the requirements real quick, and just so you know, I'm over here in week 5. Uh, Final project, Nobel Prize poster research and first iteration. This is the actual assignment page. So I'm looking over here. So you've got the front announce poster, included biographic information. That's great. Timeline design. That's great. Tagline. Photographic imagery, two-sided poster, excellent. Your orientation, or you're not really scaled out to 11 by 17. These are more square format. So one tip is whenever you're sketching out ideas for a presentation, try to keep them in scale so that the viewer knows that, okay, so the viewer knows that this is an actual depiction of the layout itself. So okay, so yeah, with everything in place, I think we can go ahead and jump right over to the assignment presentation. I think you're doing some good things. Now, the first thing, I don't see any real connections between the front and the back of the poster. And this is all about visual correspondence, right? And let me describe my use of the term visual correspondence. And to do so, I'm going to jump over to week 5 presentation. So go ahead and jump down here to the bottom of this. First of all, this presentation is top notch. It's great, really, really good stuff here. Read it, memorize it, know it. But what I want to get to is this right down here. Now, visual correspondence, I kind of use that as an all-encompassing term to include all of these 5 techniques. I want you to go through this presentation and note that the little I right here, that'll describe, you kind of got to piece together the headline with the description and then kind of go back and see which example they're talking about. But it's a great job of describing visual correspondence in a way that is really easily understandable with examples. So be sure to go through that. And while going through that, think about how you can apply some of these techniques to your own work. The next thing I would like to do is draw your attention. Well, actually, let's go back to your sketches now. So, like I said, I don't see this kind of tie, this kind of connection in the front. In the back, in the second, I'm sorry, in the first example. In the second example, we do have this connection with X from X-ray. So, and to me, I think it's a typographic solution. It's not an illustration, because you're basically, this is negative space, right? So all you're doing is manipulating the hue and tonal value assigned to negative space with the large X, which of course is a typographic solution. And I mention that because in the instructions right here, the very first one, the person, you must announce who the person is through some typographic design of their name. So we're using typography to dictate our communication and to deliver our message on the front. So that's pretty good. And then you've carried that successfully over to the back and assembled the timeline on one of the axes axis of the large X. So that's pretty cool. And then the third one, I think that's pretty cool. And I'm not real sure how feasible this is, this layout. Try it, see how you like it, but really think about it. I think it's going to be difficult to read the biography and try to assemble a timeline of that. It can be done, definitely, but it's going to take some finesse. So think about that. Okay. At this point, I will say this is a good presentation. Everything, like I said, all the players are in place here. You're set up for success. I would say that at this point, I just want to show you a couple of examples. Sorry about that. I wanted to show you a couple of examples. And so that brings me to the third area in the class I want to bring your attention to, and that's the week 5 announcement. So be sure you go through the announcement. Here's some really great examples of this visual correspondence that we speak of, and some of these techniques to really create message typographically. So take a look at those. And then at the bottom, there's a couple of examples, a few really excellent examples of previous student work. And note, this is illustrative. That's an illustration, yes, but it is used typographically, right? So that's a really great solution there as we continue that design concept through to the back to create the timeline. So that's really a nice presentation there. This one is a little different in that it introduces this kind of pattern in the typography, right? And so it's all functional, it works great, right? But we come to the back and we see that pattern repeated here. So then here's the aha moment, is when we jump over and we see, well, we realize that pattern is right from her outfit. So that's a really fantastic solution right there. And this one might be my favorite in terms of an example of visual correspondence. So basically what we've done is substitute the E for an equal sign, which creates a heavy, powerful message equating Martin Luther King with equality. And that's just a really great solution. And then to boot, we just kind of create the timeline on the back based on that equal sign, which doubles as the E in Luther. So really clever solutions here. So I want you to think about this. Think about it for a day, sleep on it, and really think about what direction you want to move forward in what direction you would like to move forward to really push this connection between visual correspondence, typography, and concept. So think about it and decide which you think would be the most expeditious way to move forward. At this particular point, I think what we have here, you might consider adding a little bit more bio information for your final presentation for Sunday, just so it's there and it's in place, right? And then I would say for these, I would replace this first one since we don't really see any connection between, and let me just jump over to your, I want to see really quick what that, so the first, I wanted to place an X-ray. I wanted the poster to be black and white, kind of X-ray. The second sketch the third sketch. So I don't really see a description of the first sketch. So I would recommend redoing the first sketch so that you can use visual correspondence, create meaning via typography, connect the front with the back visually, and build meaning based on typographic visual correspondence as it relates to subject matter, concept, and continuation of design from front to the back. Okay, so we see it here. And we see it here, but we don't see it here. So those are my recommendations for your final submission on Sunday. And then as far as moving forward, it's just really think about what I've said, study on it, sleep on it, let it sink in and start thinking about how you can develop these meanings. Okay? All right, fantastic. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. Thank you very much.